from the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation, Outdoor Oklahoma.
Hi folks, welcome to Outdoor Oklahoma. I am here today with Kenneth Bowman. Kenneth, you're the current president of the Oklahoma Taxidermy Association. For myself and the people watching at home, tell me about the association. What are you guys about?
The Oklahoma Taxidermy Association is just a group of taxidermists here in the state and surrounding states. There's usually about 125 members. They get together quarterly for different events, seminars, workshops, competitions, a lot of different learning deals. We do the expo,
Right.
And that's to promote the art of taxidermy and
Sure.
to inform the public what's going on with taxidermy and how taxidermy works.
Well, tell us what's going on here today.
Today is the Spring All-Day Workshop where we hire one of the top competitors in the United States to come in. Clay Wagner of Lott, Texas is here today, and he'll be going over bobcat taxidermy from A to Z with our members.
Oh, that's neat. Well, I know you guys maintain a website. It's www.
OklahomaTaxidermistAssociation.com.
Okay, Oklahoma
And it's got every bit of the current information. You
Right.
can find stuff out about the convention on there.
And that's one thing
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that. The convention is held each summer, usually in the month of July.
June.
Excuse
Yes,
me.
June.
And that is something where I know you guys are really encouraging the public to come out
Right.
and see some of this really awesome art.
Yeah. There's a public viewing on Saturday morning, usually from like 8 to 12.
And that's an
public-
annual thing. Every
Every year, they come out. The locations change a little bit. It's
Right.
been at that same hotel for 3 or 4 years
Right.
now. But like I said, there's a public viewing on
Well,
Saturday.
that's a great opportunity for
Anybody and
for
everybody.
anybody, and even non-hunters that want to see wildlife art, up close. That's a great opportunity. A few months ago, Kenny, we our partners over at Oklahoma Educational Television Authority, OETA, they produced a show called Gallery.
Yep.
And they produced an awesome segment on one of your members, Danny Keener. And so right now, they've been generous enough to share this segment with us. Right now, let's join Danny Keener out in Choctaw with The Art of Preservation.
My name's Danny Keener, and this is my taxidermy shop. I'm a person who recreates wildlife that has been taken as a trophy for hunters. I've been doing taxidermy work since about 1985, and I'm like most of the taxidermists in the state of Oklahoma. We started as hunters, sportsmen. We collect a few trophies. We want to have them mounted. We find out that, we can do it just as good or better ourselves, and so we start getting into that realm of it, shooting and taking some animals, and start mounting our own, and it usually progresses from there. The outdoors are special. You've talked to any hunters, you know, just sitting out there in the wild. I don't have to go kill a deer to be a hunter. You know, sitting in a tree stand looking at nature, watching the squirrels, watching the deer come by, watching bobcats, hawks, and owls. You see everything when you're out in the woods. It's dead silence, just you and the nature. And I think that's what I like about hunting. Today, a taxidermist is considered a wildlife artist. It's kind of like 3D art. We're trying to reconstruct, put together back, and depict a live animal. But it is an art form. It's just a little bit different than flat art or 3D art. We're dealing with the live animal. We're preserving the skin, the hide. So we're trying to recreate a wildlife art piece with the real original animal. Everything's artificial or tanned or recreated. A lot of people don't know anything about taxidermy work, and so they're thinking that we put the original eyes of that deer back into the mount. That's not so. We've set the eyes here. We've recreated the muscle and membrane that's around the eye that closes and shuts the eye. This deer is going to be in a relaxed position, so his eyes are going to be relaxed. Back in the old days, you know, they would use cotton batting, straw. That's where the word stuffing come from. People thought you stuffed animals back in the early 1900s, and it carried on to even today. A lot of people think, well, did you stuff that animal? Well, today there's no stuffing to it, but it's all done by hand, and there's no getting around it. Each animal is so individual in itself. There's no two deer alike. There's no two human beings alike. And of course, when you study, let's say deer for instance, you know, I'm studying, I watch them, I hunt them, I look at videos, I look at still pictures. I'm studying their attitudes, the way they act, the way they look, the way they feel. Deer have a big range of attitude. You know, deer can be alert where they're throwing their ears forward. They can be relaxed, they can be tired, they can be sleepy just like us. But most of the time, deer are super high strung, they're alert, their ears are forward, their eyes are wide. Well, I don't know these animals personally, you know, I get them in, they're already dead. But I try to put back in my mounting the expression or the attitude that that customer wants. Hi.
How you doing?
Are you Mr. Bruce Lynch?
Yes, sir.
Danny Keener, pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
See, you got a deer.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's take a look at this thing. Seeing a big deer come in my shop is exciting. It's not as exciting as it used to be, but I'm more proud and excited for that hunter than anything because, you know, this is a once-in-a-lifetime trophy for this guy. You know, he may kill a bigger deer and he may not in his lifetime. Yeah, that's a big old buck. That's an older buck too. You know, I get a lot of bucks in, and I can tell by the shape of the head and everything that this is a good old buck. You know, of course the horns are phenomenal. Well, this is a good deer. Let's get him inside and get some measurements and some information from you. What I try to do is capture what that hunter wants. Let's just set this thing in the floor. We'll get it tagged. It looks like it's got snow on it, but I guess that's ice probably from the freezer. You know, a lot of hunters want a depiction or recreation of what they last see before they pull that trigger. And I hear a lot of stories on that deer looked like this or did this, and they want it recreated like they last saw it.
Kind of like the aggressive look. I mean, with him having 10, he got 10 points on the left side. You can see all them kickers on that one side.
Is that those kickers are on the left side,
On
aren't
the
they?
left side.
Yeah. So see, this has got a bit of hard right turn, even though it's a side mount. You know, you could see your kickers with something like this coming out that side there, and the broken off ones, you know, is not so visible that side. So a little slight right turn like this would be good, but you can get this into a shoulder mount too, rather than a wall mount.
Definitely a deer this big, especially hunting in Oklahoma, you may never see a deer that size again in the woods in the real wildlife. So I'd like to have him mounted. That way I could at least, show him off and have it there to keep. So
There's nothing better than to do a good deer mount for a hunter that likes the outdoors. When he picks it up, he's one happy customer. And they'll take that deer home and they'll show all their relatives, all their friends. They'll hang it up in their living room or their trophy room or their shop. And they get to actually, see the results of their sportsmanship for a long time to come.
how's it going?
Good, Bobby. How you doing?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Good. Got the little ones with you? You gonna pick up a deer?
Yep, here to pick up a deer.
I bet these guys are gonna be hunters when they get older.
You want to go hunt when we get older? So we already do, don't we?
Most hunters are the nicest people in the world. I don't think I've ever really met a bad hunter out there.
Yeah, come on in and I'll show you your deer here on the wall.
They love the outdoors, they love nature, they like hunting. They're happy people. Yeah, when you hang this on the wall, be sure and get it on that hanger in the back, and a couple times a year just take a duster and dust the dust off the face and stuff. And that's the good part about taxidermy work. I like people, I like talking to people, and so you get to meet a variety of people.
There's a rat.
There's a rat, and there's a cat, and that's a snake over there with some turkey eggs.
Don't blow your nose at me.
That's a big cow in it compared to you.
When the kids come in, they're amazed. They got their mouth open and eyes wide open, and of course they're wanting to touch and pet everything. And I got some animals in here that, I let them touch and pet, and it don't bother me. Baby chicken's a baby turkey. See, we ever pet him on the head like that?
He's smoke on him.
He's small. He's a baby, kind of like y'all. Young turkey.
Thank you.
I get a lot of customers by word of mouth. I don't advertise. I don't have a published number. I get a lot of business, but I've worked very hard for 25 years. I am not a natural gifted person as far as with the ability to do this. I had to learn and work the hard way. I did the road of hard knocks in taxidermy work. I've made mistakes. I learn, I correct, I try to do everything right. I've overdone it, but the reason why I've done that, because I wanted to be the top in the state. I wanted to get my certifications, and luckily I'm one of only 2 masters in Oklahoma. So it's really progressed to a high level of art form, so you've got to be a pretty good artist to stay up with some of our taxidermists in the state today.
Well, Ken, just watching that segment just reinforces the idea with me that taxidermy is an art form.
Yeah.
And I don't know that people have always recognized it as such. What would you say to the people?
I think most of these guys are some of the most artistic people you'll ever meet. The supply companies have advanced so much with all the mannequins and all the modern technology that there's absolutely no reason for these things not to look like live animals anymore, and these guys are studying art. Some even take art classes to incorporate it into their mounts. So it's truly an art form.
And that's what you're trying to do here today with your guest
to
instructor.
further advance their knowledge.
Right.
That's exactly
We're
right.
going to join Clay Wagner and get a few of his tips on mountain bobcats right after this.
Take somebody fishing. You can't take somebody fishing, take yourself. Give me that thing.
All right, the flap on the, I should have showed you out before I did this. You know this little flap on the outside of a cat's ear? You got to turn it all the way out. And what you do is squeeze the Bondo and just make it balloon out. I don't know if you can see that, where I've got it ballooned out. The head on this cat, on this mannequin, was way up here. He had it like this, and I don't like them like that. I wanted my head down. So what I did is I cut the head off, and I took, the seminar I gave last year, I just took these rods, and I kind of held the head in the position that I wanted it, and I just started running rods down in here. I think I used 1, 2, and I think I run one from the back. And when you do that, the head's just really, it's not going anywhere. And I just take duct tape and make me a dam around here and just pour my foam in there and let it come up, and then pull my tape off and start sanding, and makes it pretty easy to do. But you can move a head anywhere you want. I cut my pads all the way out to make room for the rods to go through. But when you're skinning them out, skin them all the way to the toenail, the claw. Don't leave any bone. Skin them all the way out. I get this fiberglass chop from Joe Coombs. I don't like the stuff that I get from everybody else. Joe's is real thin. You get that stuff that looks like rice. You ever seen it? I've got some real good pictures of it. Maybe we can turn the lights out and look at it. This cat didn't hardly have any tufts on his ears.
My name is Bill Newman, and I'm a fisheries technician for Wildlife Department out of Holdenville, Oklahoma. Our office is there in Holdenville, and that's my full-time job. But part-time, I do taxidermy at night, and I've been doing that since I was 15 and a half, so a long time. And I'm a member of the Oklahoma Taxidermy Association. And I frequently get questions on how do I take care of a fish that I've caught, a big fish. So, and what I like to do is just put it in a plastic bag, like a freezer bag. Maybe you can double bag it, and freeze it as soon as you can. That's the best. That's the best thing. That's the correct way of doing it. And the better you can take care of this fish, the better it'll turn out. And lots of times when people say, "Well, I caught this real pretty fish," but and I thought, well, I just have it mounted. It's not my biggest fish, but it was the prettiest one. Well, people don't know that we repaint these things. So it doesn't matter if it's an ugly fish or a pretty fish. If it's got good shape to it, it's going to turn out good because we have to repaint them. I see a lot of people wrapping them in newspaper or a wet towel, but that really doesn't do any good. In fact, the newspaper is kind of a bad thing because after it's in the freezer for a while, it'll actually freezer dry, and that newspaper will dry out and then suck the moisture out of the fish that it's wrapped in. And a towel does the same thing. You're just kind of wasting a nice, good towel. I mean, it's good for us because we get a free towel out of the deal. One final tip I can think of is when you're out in the field, just take a picture of the fish, because taxidermists a lot of times like to see a picture if it's got some unusual markings on it. Just everybody's got a cell phone camera out in the field. Just take a picture, both sides, and you have the choice of a right turn or a left turn. So if he's got some neat markings on it, neat colors, a picture really works for the taxidermist.
Well, folks, we're running short on time. I wanted to thank the producers of the gallery segment that you saw earlier, Randy Hayes and Susan Miller with OETA. Appreciate you sharing that segment with us. I'm back here with Kenny Bowman, and Kenny, real quickly, people want more information about the association, go to the website, and it gives all the dates and information that somebody could want. What would you say about somebody who would want to get into the career of taxidermy?
There's a lot of the supply companies out there that sell books and videos and stuff, and it's always good to get your feet wet. And then once your feet are wet, you could probably get some one-on-one training with some of the different taxidermists, and it'd be a lot more meaningful to you. But the main thing I would do is join the state association. I did taxidermy for about 5 years before I ever found the association, and with 1 year being in it, I already learned more than I did in the first 5 years. So
well,
it's a great learning opportunity.
Excellent. Well, folks, hope you enjoyed today's show. Please join us here each and every week on Outdoor Oklahoma.